As I have stated in our teachings of the Gospel of Mark, Jesus was always teaching. And he was building and maturing and growing these disciples because they were going to be the leaders of the church upon his departure. And it was very important that they learn and grow. And so now he had taken Peter, James, and John with him up on the mountain, and there they witnessed the transfiguration. And as they were coming down off the mountain, they were just full of questions. And they wanted to know about what Jesus was referring to, about his departure and how that he was going to die and how he was going to be resurrected. And they wanted to know about Elijah and how that the scribes had preached that Elijah must first come before the Savior comes. And so Jesus just responded to their questions. And he said, first, yes, Elias must come, or Elijah, and he has. And then he explained to them that through John the Baptist, the one that we call the Baptist, the great preacher, he was Elijah. He was the spirit of Elijah, and he preached in such a manner that would prepare for the coming of the Lord. And he said that through the preaching of John, there would be a restoration to prepare the hearts of the people to receive the words of the ministry of the Savior. And then he said, the Son of Man, being Christ himself, would suffer many things. Again, foretelling what was to come, the agony and the torture and the pain of the cross, and the time in Gethsemane where he would just literally just pour out heart and soul there as he prayed before God. And then he said concerning John, they said when John was here, he said they did to him whatever they so desired. And they eventually took his life. But just keeping in mind the correlation between the life and the ministry of John the Baptist and that of Elijah himself, both of them preached in very, very difficult times in history. Because we know that Elijah lived during the days of Ahab and his wicked wife Jezebel, and how that they had totally abandoned the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they were followers of Baal and Ashtoreth. All of this brought upon them by this wicked woman that Ahab had married. And he was a man who was totally dominated by his wife. And you see the comparison between him and Herod, and the wicked regime that Herod had, and how that he was married to his brother Philip's wife, and John the Baptist would preach it on the side of the hill as the chariots would go by, or the coaches would go by, and he would scream at the top of his voice and preach to Herod, "Is this what you're doing is a sin." That was the ministry of Elijah, preparing for the coming and setting things in order for when the Christ would literally be upon the earth, minister, suffer, and die for the sins of humanity. This is Pastor Jack King with the Gospel on the radio broadcast.